What's up, y'all? DJ in your face, back in the place. Let's get this thing going. It's Monday, baby. Yes, indeed, it's Monday night, y'all.
Let's get this thing in the mood, please. Yeah.
Culture from the couch, let's get it.
George Sound Village. Let's see you, man. 21st in the bag. What you gonna do, man? Let's see you tonight, yeah.
Let's rock, y'all.
Finally, stop people. Y'all hear you, bro. Give a little something. All the hard work's behind it. And I just invited all my friends.
Yes, indeed. It's a beautiful night. Hope y'all tuning in. While we listening to this good old backyard band, hope y'all sitting in y'all backyard about to enjoy this show.
Come and let's drink something to smoke and we're out there. No one's got hated in their heart. Backyard party. Backyard party.
Welcome to Free Agency Monday, y'all. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I need something. It feels so good to be outside. Oh, yeah. And the music feels like heaven. Makes me want to go outside and clean my ride. Oh, I'm gonna throw something on the ground.
If you tuning in out there, check in for me. Give us a shout out real fast. Let us know where you're coming from.
Out there. No one's got hated in their heart. We're just having it.
Anybody out there ready to party tonight? We doing this for CWall, y'all.
We're just having it. Hey, yo, hear a little song for you.
Backyard party, real nigga, look at if it crack up ugly, I'ma get you back of the wheel, cracking that bag. If we sit, we gon' get this. We trip, we trip. On my block, we call it Palo, we might call it script. That's our shit. It's I might say trap. Nigga, get up, nigga, doors, nigga, rap, get low and everywhere. This a back party, trap off party, block off the block. Nobody want it. If they ain't in, leave them the end of the counter. They can watch it. This real nigga no owner. Till a nigga dash, nigga pop up Rona. Add some fat, man, owner. I just wanna hit it. I don't really wanna. It's a backyard party, my home, my side. Come on.
Backyard party.
Yeah.
We're just having it. Backyard party.
My bro.
Backyard party.
We here. Hey, look out, she working. Look out, she working. Keep it right there. I love it when she cry, when she put it on me.
Let's go, come on.
Hey, Kendra, love it when you cry, when you put it on me.
We went from a backyard party to having a little subtle thought.
When you cry, when you put it on me.
Let's rock, come on.
We talk. Love it when you cry, when you put it on me. Huh? Hey, Steve Rock, J-Rock, tell them do it. Come on with it. Put it on me. Shorty, you were down when you put it on me. Come on, when you ride, you can move your body. You know I really want it, put it on me.
Let's rock, y'all.
Put it on me. Put it on me, baby. Put it on me.
Culture from the couch, let's get it. Free Agency Monday. CWall in the building.
Ride out. We on the real for real return. want to see all the ladies down front. Grinding with the beat like this here. Hey, ladies, I said hold that beat. Grind with me, y'all. It's the world's biggest.
Let's see some shout outs out there on Facebook land, y'all. What's up? Shout out to the All Stars out there. The faithful few, the faithful many, the faithful y'all. Let's rock.
Hey, let me see you take that thing like a tambourine. Hey, Tree, it's the world's biggest. Hey, come on. Hey, let me see you take that thing like a tambourine. Hey, Miss Bay, keep it right there. Keep it right there. Hey, let me see you take that thing like a tambourine.
You gotta do your dance out there, y'all.
It's the world's biggest. Hey, let me see you take that thing like a tambourine. Hey, CWall, J-Rock, he's done. Come on with it. When you grind, when you put it on me.
What's up, Wizard?
Hold that beat.
Hey. My man Mazdak, what's up, brother? Welcome to the pre-show, man. Come on. Boy up in the building. What's up? What's up, Cameron? Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. COVID-free. Come on.
Hey. One more time. We on the real return. Come on. You 12. Hey, Geese. Baseline Geese. With that ground with the beat. Hey, let me see you shake that thing like a tambourine. It's the world's biggest. These lights are hey, let me see you shake that thing like a tambourine. Hey, C-Roll.
Let's go.
Inside, hoping you'd be the one.
Take y'all back down to Adams Morgan for a minute.
All my life, can't wait to see you. Your pretty little thing to hold you. When I look into your eyes, my pretty sunshine, 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 pretty little sunshine, baby. Sunshine, yes you are. Sunshine. Oh,
It's good that it's 7 o'clock and we still got a little sunshine outside. How about that, y'all?
sunshine, sunshine.
Next week I'm broadcasting from my backyard. Let's go.
Almost cried. And now my friends say I'm such a lucky guy to have you in my life. Baby, you light my skies. You make my day so bright, baby. My life would be so dark without my sunshine, my sunshine, baby. Yes, you are. I really wanna hold you, baby. Really wanna love you, baby. Look into your eyes.
Shout out to everybody out there in Facebook land. CWall, Culture from the Couch. Let's rock.
This song right here is for our sunshines. And if anybody out there,
Let me see somebody throw a O up in the chat, y'all. Throw your O's up.
I want you to close your eyes and put your hand on your heart and give them the true definition of sunshine. I want y'all to listen and repeat after me and go home and tell your kids. As it's for your sweetest touching, you won't ever want for nothing. Anything you want, I give you, especially if I have you. 'Cause I love you. Anywhere you go, I follow. Anything you want, I teach you. Won't be easy.
Hey, there we go, Bridget with the O's. Let's go.
Baby. You know I love you, baby. I gotta hold you because I love you, baby. I gotta have you. You know that I love you. They say I'm so crazy. The way you got me open, baby.
Shout out to Belladonna, Miss Sherry. Miss Sherry, let's go.
They say I'm fucking. The way I'm tight sweating your love.
Oh yeah, shout out to Chuck Brown, Godfather Go Go.
Check it out. They all sit and wonder why this feeling I cannot hide. It ain't a question of pride. Oh, what is it? It's love, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
It's love.
Let's go.
Tripping, yeah, you got my whole life
Oh man, Candy got a great show for y'all tonight, y'all. I can't wait for y'all to hear it. Y'all gotta get engaged with it too. A lot of moves happening today, a lot of moves. Yeah. Number one sports show in the DMV. Yeah. What's up, Joy?
Hey, Halima! Halima!
Shout out to my brother, Super Dave on the Congo.
Diva is the female version of a hustler, of a hustler, of a hustler. Diva is the female version of a hustler, of a hustler, of a hustler. All my divas, female version of a hustler. All my divas, female version of a hustler. Oh yeah. They give it a grip. Good God. They run it down.
Not twerking shit like that. Someone should do it real fast. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it.
Who need that red light, green light? So starts at 7:30. All the Commander fans need to tag in. Let's get it.
Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Hey, hey. We'll never see that ass roll like a 24. We'll never see that ass roll like a 24. We'll never see that ass roll like a 24. We'll never see that ass roll like a 24. We'll never see that ass roll like a 24. We'll never see that ass roll
like a 24.
We'll never see that ass roll like a 24. We'll never
Yes, indeed. We need all the Commanders fans to tag on in. We need the Commanders fans to make some noise in this chat. Oh, yeah.
Hey, I bet you can't bounce like that. You got the wiggly, baby. Go ahead, girl. Hey, I bet you can't bounce like that. You got the wiggly, jiggly. Go ahead, baby. Hey, I bet you can't bounce like that. You got the wiggly, baby. Go ahead, girl. Hey, I bet you can't bounce like that. Come on, this. All the way to the floor. All the way to the floor. Ladies, don't stop.
We still in the building. Little issues, but we rocking, y'all. Culture from the couch is starting in 10 minutes. Yeah. Get everybody in the building. Get everybody on the page. Yeah. That's right. It's Commanders Monday, y'all. Woo! Yeah, let's go. I need y'all to be in y'all chairs or in your car if you watch it through your phone in your car. Rocking like this. Come on. Shout out to Solo Band. That's right, taking y'all back, y'all. Let's see something in the chat. Yeah. Oh yeah, Candy got some good news for y'all. Culture from the couch. Shout out to the CWall team holding it down. Let's go. Yeah. Shout out Ron Blackwell in the building. What's up, Ron? Shout out to all the Commander fans. Let's go. John Adams in the building. Good evening to you, John. Shout out to everybody who won't admit it, but they know every time a backyard song come on, they start trying to imitate Big G. Let's go, come on. This is the pre-show. DJ in your face in the place. Culture on the couch every Monday. Let's go. DJ in your face. Let's go.
Say what?
Five.
I heard that.
Let's go.
Yeah. I heard that, Leo. Hey.
Fire, fire. That's what the show gonna be tonight, y'all. Five. Let's go. This is what we had.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Let it ride, baby. Hey, boy, G.
Let's go.
Tell my man Breeze we said what's up, Big B. Over there in the building. Boy, G. Yeah, one time I'm Treasy and Tasha. Yeah.
Oh, he cranking so hard right now.
Oh. Thank you, Susie. Black Tasha. Yeah, we saw chicken over there. Yeah, Shorty Doug, hold me down. What?
Woo!
All the fellas, they came this
About to take y'all back with this Monday. When it's too much fire, you gotta put it out with a little bit of water. Let's go.
yeah. Yo, they came this way.
Well, let's go.
Well, come on, Joe. You work with it. Yeah. Yeah. On that midnight train, Georgia. Caesar. Yeah. Well, let's baby, baby, baby. Never learn to swim. Yeah,
We got just 2 minutes, y'all, till it's showtime. Coaching from the couch. Washington Commanders edition. So many moves took place. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from the expert, CWall. Yes, indeed. It's the countdown till it's game time. Thank y'all so much for partying with me. Knocking this dust off, knocking this rust off. Be back with y'all on a Monday. Maybe he won't. Let's go. Yeah, 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 yeah. You right. Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime. I'd like to, without further ado, bring to you on this Monday night, CWall Entertainment, Culture from the couch. DJ in your face in the place. We out. It's showtime, y'all. Let's welcome CWall to the stage. Let's get it.
You're not on the field, court, or ice. You're on the couch. From DG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, CWall, delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from the hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's CWall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you not on the field. Cold on the ice, picking any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am. Through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. CWall and we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This one is a little different because this is your Washington Commanders update. But what is still the same is I am your host, CWall. Welcome on this free agency frenzy Monday. Listen, y'all, did you all enjoy the music? Did you all enjoy DJ Enya? Because let me just say this. I was like, listen, if anything else, probably going to need some music. Okay? Probably going to need a whole lot of music because isn't it already been just a lot? Oh my goodness. Good grief, people. I'm like, look, when was the legal tampering thing supposed to start? What's happening here? Who's doing what? Because if you ask me, there's been a lot of tampering, legal and illegal and whatever else is going on in overall free agency. But I'm like, to the point that's here, and I really want to make sure everyone is checked in, and I've acknowledged everybody. Instead of the music was more hype than anything the Commanders did today. Still getting started, so we'll have to see what happens. But I do need to make sure before we get all into the nitty-gritty of free agency, has everybody checked in and hit the love button? Do we all know that everyone is here? I know the CWall team has checked in. Joy and Mazdak. John Adams has said to call him Commander John. He's ready to go. I see that. Wallace, I've seen you check in. I believe I've seen Cameron Mingo check in, Chief of DC. And as always, you all have to say hello to Mama Waller. You have to say hello to Mama Waller. You all. Again, it seems like it's been a long time since we've had this conversation. So, and talked about the Commanders, but now it's time. It's time to talk. And we're going to start with at the top, right? We're still going to continue the conversation around Carson Wentz as the quarterback of the Washington Commanders. We're going to get into a bit of the extension of Scott Turner. We're also going to get into a bit the exits of Brandon Sheriff and Tim Settle. And we know that Bobby McCain has entered free agency. We know that Landon Collins has entered free agency. So we're going to get into a bit more of each one of those topics and then some. Okay, is everybody checked in with the love button? Have you all shared the show with your favorite Commanders fans? Okay. All right. I trust that you have. So let's go ahead and get started. So Carson Wentz posted this tweet to Colts fans. And you may have seen this. I'm going to give you an opportunity to read through it a bit. And of course, he acknowledges right at the top that this has been a short time for he and his family in Indianapolis, but he felt that the community embraced them and the Hoosier hospitality is incredible. What I want to make sure I share with you all and show you all is that last paragraph in this. I'm looking forward to getting to Washington. This organization has a rich history and a roster full of talent. I'm going to do everything I can this offseason to prepare for a special season, and I can't wait to see you at FedEx Field this fall. So I wanted to acknowledge that because I think this goes to a couple of things that I continue to see that said by fans, and it's that free agents don't want to come to Washington because of the environment in Washington. Here's the difference. Here's the difference right now of what's going on. And that is simply that it's a couple things. One, Washington isn't the only other team in the league. Okay, it's pretty much, hey, if your team isn't the Super Bowl champion or looking like you're Super Bowl ready today, it's always going to be a somewhat of a challenge to say, okay, which town, which organization looks the most desirable, if that means anything in terms of winning now. And then we're going to jump to the conversation about Brandon Sheriff there in a minute, because this is applicable. Another thing that folks need to realize is cap situations absolutely matter. How much money is in the cap matters, okay? Also, retaining your current talent matters, all right? It's not a thing of, well, nobody wants to come here, because Washington isn't the only team that goes through some level of turmoil. It is the only team that is publicly known currently. But at the same token, there's a lot to be said. And I know even I have had my concerns and challenges of, are they really just a quarterback away? And there are many that truly believe the team is really only a quarterback away. Okay, because see, one thing about me, I'm going to test my own theory throughout the industry. And I'm going to ask experts in the industry. I'm going to ask people on other teams. I'm going to ask people who cover other teams. And I'm going to ask, are they really just a quarterback away? And then you know what, people come back and tell me, well, did you forget that the team beat the Super Bowl defending champions at the time? Do you forget that the quarterback they were also after, Russell Wilson, is who they beat on Monday Night Football? Did you forget any of that? And so we have these conversations, because one thing about me, I want to talk to my colleagues about it. So please, let's not think that it's so much about not wanting to come. There's some talent on the current team that folks think highly of. And one of those people is Terry McLaurin. Okay. Sometimes I can be pretty hard on Terry, but let me tell you something. Folks want to play with Terry. They have a lot of positive things to say about Jonathan Allen. And of course, the tandem of Chase Young and Montez Sweat makes people energized. It makes them smile really big, like how I am right now. So listen, some of this notion of doesn't want to come here, it's not that. There's a lot of factors that come into play. And I want to make sure that folks are educated on that and understand that it's tough because some teams have money and others don't. And that's when, and I see this comment here that I do want to make sure is acknowledged, of where it comes into restructuring contracts and having to be very savvy about how these contracts are structured so they do have more money in the cap. So not many moves made just yet, but I absolutely wanted to address that conversation because I'm the kind of person that will reach out to my colleagues and ask the question. Now, let me be clear about something. That doesn't necessarily change my opinion. I do not think that the team is only a quarterback away. However, it is always good to hear the perspectives and the thoughts and the insights of others in the industry at other organizations that coach and scout and the like, and the positive things that they do have to say. So keep those things in mind because it's very important. And I wanted to make sure that was mentioned because with Carson Wentz saying a roster full of talent, people feel that way. Let me also mention this. I believe I mentioned this on a previous show, but let me mention this again. Washington wasn't the only team trying to get Carson Wentz. Okay. So for all of the complaints about Carson, listen, they weren't the only team. Quarterbacks are hard to come by. If people feel like they have an opportunity to get better at any position, they're going to attempt to do that. Now, here's the thing that I'm still going to continue to say is a challenge and what I'm concerned about and that everybody should be keeping their eye on. It is absolutely the notion of trying to see what's up with his leadership abilities and his leadership style. And that is something that he needs to be better at. He meaning Carson Wentz. So I have my eye on that because if that's what's needed, then people need to keep that in mind because that's a thing. That's absolutely a thing. Okay, absolutely. So more to come, more to be seen on this topic. So with bringing Carson Wentz on, I'm sure you all have heard this, correct? In case you missed this news, that the Commanders have signed offensive coordinator Scott Turner through 2024. I really want to know, what is your opinion of this? Okay. This was confirmed late over the weekend. There's actually, again, let me ask some people. Let me get a sense of how folks are feeling. There's been a lot of positive insight and feedback on Scott Turner. I think he's doing a great job, and they think he will do an amazing job with a quarterback like Carson Wentz. I really want to know you all's thoughts on this. It's hard to tell, right? Because in some ways, in some areas, I know I've been very hard on Scott Turner because it's like when things were going well, when the run game was going well, when things were going well and it was working, then it would seem like at times he would deviate from what was working. And that would frustrate me. Another thing that would frustrate me is I felt as though where Taylor Heineke was strong, they were trying to get him to deviate from what was working well for Taylor. That would also confuse me a bit. I would be like, well, Taylor's not good at that. Why aren't you doing what he's good at and what absolutely could strengthen his ability? So, hey, I understand it. If you want to keep it going, they think that he's done some positive things. They definitely feel that way. And to this point here, I want to mention this point that Ron Blackwell, I see your comment here. There's a lot of positive things that are being said about, of course, we talk about Terry McLaurin. They've mentioned getting another stud receiver. They talked about perhaps even bringing Cam Sims back. Of course, they have a lot of confidence in Logan Thomas, but Logan got hurt last year. They super duper really like rookie John Bates. They have a lot of positive insights on John Bates. They, like I said, they feel really good about their running back tandem with Antonio Gibson. You know, I get anxiety about Antonio Gibson and all those fumbles, but he had another 1,000-yard season. And of course, all of the positive things that are said about J.D. McKissick, and they're absolutely trying to work something out and re-sign J.D. McKissick for certain. So with that being said, they really think out of those things, it really was about the quarterback play that at times really did limit the offense. They think Carson Wentz can help with that. They do think quarterback play was the difference in about 3 or 4 games last season, at the least. So it's more to be said. It's more to be tracked. And of course, we'll all have to wait and see what really happens. But a lot of Positive feedback so far with Carson Wentz. Not only that, from a quarterback play perspective, we know there's some concerns about leadership in the locker room. And then in terms of signing and extending, I should say, Scott Turner, they think this is going to be a really good duo with Scott and Carson. And if they're able to secure some of the strong pieces that the team already has. More to come. More to come. Want to see it. And so I'm sure we're all going to see it, but we're going to be talking about it a lot too. Other news. Brandon Sheriff. Now, this was expected, right? This was expected. And I want to get you all's thoughts on here. I'll pull up comments in the chat to be recognized. Brandon Sheriff moving on to Jacksonville. Now, let's talk about this. This is going to go back. Let me pull back to the comment that I was making about people not wanting to come here, right? Jacksonville was pretty much in shambles. This is not a move you make per se when you are like win now mentality. This is something that we've been tracking for a very long time. And I'm going to stay here for a moment on this topic of Brandon Sheriff, because we've been talking about this after a couple years of being tagged. We knew earlier in the calendar year that they were having a hard time trying to come to an agreement with the All-Pro guard. So now he's expected to sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pretty much using words like it intends to, expected to. What I'm interested in knowing is, what are the details of the deal? I want to know the specifics of this one, because it is to my understanding that the Washington Commanders offered Brandon something extremely lucrative. So I'm like, Now, from a Jacksonville perspective, Jacksonville that's another team, right? That's another team. It's like, well, who wants to play there? Who wants to do anything with Jacksonville? So it's kind of, hey, big payday. Big payday. And Jacksonville has a lot of money. They got some money in that cap, and they have good draft position because they haven't been all that good or anything recently. So they got some money and they've been spending it wisely. They've had a good time so far in free agency. Can't wait to see the details of Brandon's contract. I really cannot wait to see that. But now, and I want to go back to this point too. I know Jacksonville was big on needing to beef up their offensive line. Rookie quarterback Trevor Lawrence was sacked 32 times last season. Did y'all know that? 32 times. So you absolutely need somebody like Brandon Sheriff. Hey, listen, Brandon would be injured. But Brandon, again, you ask, you talk to people, he's a stud. All-Pro guard. Doesn't say much, tries to lead by example. So I wish him nothing but the best. Now, going back to the current Commanders O-line. So coming back would be Chase Roulier. Everybody knows he suffered a fractured fibula in week 8. But the team will have him back. Charles Leno will be back. Eric Flowers will be in the final year of his contract. Also have Cornelius Lucas. You have Sam Cosmi, Wes Schweitzer. And if he ever comes to fruition, there's still Sadiq Charles. So there's some more to be said. There's some offensive linemen that's still out there as well. So let's see what happens there. Let's see what happens there. But Brandon Sheriff has gone to get his payday. And I can't wait. I'm doing the show right now. So I was like, listen, whatever happens in free agency frenzy, y'all gonna have to leave me out of it for a little bit, because this has been a bit much of a lot of back and forth. So I just do want to see the details of that though. So I can say, how much did we carry the one? And was it still more than what was offered by the Commanders? And then go from there. All right. Other news that has come out so far. We talked about this a bit last week as well. Tim Settle, young defensive tackle, has signed a 2-year deal with the Bills. Oh, Tim, this is good for Tim. I'm going to be honest. This is good for Tim. I'm not mad. Hey, listen. He wants to be a starter. He absolutely wants that opportunity. And I absolutely understand that. And so he's able to have that opportunity with the Buffalo Bills. And I had to kind of smile and smirk to myself like the Buffalo Bills need to get any better. But anyway, that's always been one of my sleeper teams in the league. Very impressive team there. We want to wish Tim the best. He's going to be he's going to be great. He's going to be great there. It's cold up there, but hey, it doesn't matter. So that's all the update I have. I mean, that is what it is. And they had to make some moves, and Tim knew this was coming, and everyone knew he wanted to start. He wanted another opportunity, so he's going to get that with the Buffalo Bills, and I believe he's absolutely going to rock out with them. So best of luck to Tim, and we'll see what else happens with the Commanders. I almost called them the football team, but the Washington Commanders. Now it's like, okay, so what else is going on? We know that Bobby McCain is testing out free agency. With Bobby McCain testing out free agency, it's like, okay, well, we know Landon Collins is also testing out free agency because he said, no, you're not going to, I agreed to one pay cut. I'm not doing a second pay cut. So not doing any of that. What does that mean from a secondary perspective in the draft and just what's out there? From my understanding as well, some things from a defensive perspective, especially from a D-line perspective, we know the D-lineman, this is a deep draft for that, and that's great, and that's awesome. But a secondary that struggled at times, you're down potentially, again, other defensive backs, and you all know that I'm going to continue and always say out loud, this linebacker situation isn't what I thought it was going to be. So keep your eyes peeled there. I want to go back to a point about Terry McLaurin. Okay, Terry McLaurin and getting an extension. How much? I want you all to drop in the chat and say how much you would like to see Terry McLaurin be paid. Because there's some top dollar going out for wide receivers. And I'm looking to see, well, how much is Terry get paid? So I want you to drop in the chat how much you would offer to Terry McLaurin. I mean, he's definitely top tier, and he's definitely a household name, whether we know it in Commanders country or not. He absolutely is. So while you all are dropping down in the chat, I am able to take a look again at what you all are saying in the chat, going back to the point about the defensive backs. Hey, listen. Hey, I get it. You know, Landon Collins didn't want to. Hey, he said, hey, listen, they asked me to take a second pay cut, and I'm not taking it. I will test my chances out in free agency. So that's what he's doing. And I don't mind that at all. If you are like, I'm not taking that pay cut. You asked me, one pay cut was fine, 2 pay cuts, no way. So being potentially down Landon Collins, because he's already said he's not taking that second pay cut, and Bobby McCain, got to keep that in mind. Keep that in the back of your minds, Commanders fans, because that is definitely something to watch right there, because the secondary is not all that great. They're not even all that good. So that's something to be watched. Now, I'm seeing the comments come in. Top dollar from Damon Wallace. McLaurin will command $20 million a year. Terry deserves more money than Christian Kirk. Yeah, that's exactly what somebody. Christian Kirk got a big deal today. And everybody like, ooh, they got their eyes on that one. I know Terry and his agent were like, oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? So, yeah, I'm sure Terry's going to get a nice bag. So I'm seeing these. He's worthy of a bag. That's right, sis. He absolutely is. 17 to 19 mil a year. I see 15 a year. Yes, Devontae Adams is absolutely about to shake up the system for the wide receivers after what um he told Green Bay. So yeah, I mean, this is what the market is set for. This is what it absolutely, he's a household name. He's coming up. So I think it's important that everybody watch that too. How much you gonna give Terry? You gonna keep one of your top folks? You have right now. He's a selling point. He's a selling point for your quarterback. It's the offensive line, because the offensive line did rank higher than people believe. They were like sixth in the league. So, of course, the quarterback wants to be protected. I mean, of course, losing Brandon Sheriff, some people think it's not a big deal. It's absolutely a big deal. It really is. So losing, because he was a selling point. Brandon Sheriff was absolutely, again, all pro, household name. People, that's a selling point. You lost one of your selling points, okay? That's one thing. So another selling point is the running back tandem. You got to bring back your running back tandem. Like I said, I know I'm hard on Antonio Gibson, but let's be for real. His running back style and his play is attractive. People are impressed, so super impressed by Antonio Gibson, because he's a transitional player. He was a wide receiver, transitioned to a running back, and look at what he's been able to do. I am always concerned with how he handles, or lack thereof, of the football, but that does not mean that other teams and other players don't look at this kid and say, hey, what he's doing is extremely impressive, and I would like to play with him. Absolutely a selling point. Another selling point is Logan Thomas. Again, Logan Thomas got that contract last year. Unfortunately, he was injured, but he's absolutely a selling point. And Terry McLaurin. But we got to go back to the point that Terry McLaurin needs a number 2. You all know how much I talk about Cam Sims, and I believe they're trying to work and do as much with Cam Sims as possible. But the reality is he the other wide receiver? That's another question I'm going to ask you all. Drop it in the chat. Is Cam Sims WR2? Is that it? Is that it? Because I'm thinking need somebody, and it's Curtis Samuels. Is he going to come back? I see a chat coming up just now, because that's what Curtis Samuels was supposed to do. We'll see, because if Curtis Samuels is staying, and hopefully he can have well, he was injury ridden the whole entire season, so it's really unfair for me or anybody else to even say anything about him this season, because he was injured the entire season. So if he can come back and be super duper healthy, then this is what then you got that's Curtis Samuel. That's what it is. So those things are desirable to a quarterback. And once you start talking like that, and in the hopes that everybody stays healthy, then that's when people are like, well, maybe they are only a quarterback away. Okay, but that's offensively. I got questions on the defensive side of the football that I'm still just going to be loud about, because I want the defensive line to play like they're all first-round picks. In fact, I really, really do. And the linebacker position really pains me, and as does the defensive backs. Earlier in the season, much earlier during the season, I had a whole conversation with you all on I think it was on the Commander Show about the stages of team building and teaming, and how when things shift and when things change, it changes for everybody. So I look at the position groups and I see the changes there. And in my mind, sometimes I say, well, if they were only a quarterback away, then what you going to do to try to keep who you can keep? Now, let me also say this, because I did have a conversation with a few people over the weekend, and I think this is important. I want to say this. It's not that the team, I'm going back to the point of people don't want to play here. It's not necessarily that. And it's not necessarily that they aren't trying. But if the player and their agent believes they can get more money somewhere else, and they are actually being offered that, what you think gonna happen. So we're gonna see. I mean, they're definitely, because again, Landon Collins told from his own perspective, he told Josina Anderson that she could tweet it, she could share it. He was asked to take not one pay cut, but a second pay cut. He said no to the second pay cut, so he's testing the market. Same, with others. So if they have opportunity to get more money, that's what they're going to do. Because you can only work within the constraints of what you have from a financial standpoint, right? But definitely still, you got Curtis. If Curtis Samuels comes back and he's absolutely healthy, then okay, yes, I can see everyone being excited. And you think of it like this. You get a strong offensive line. You got that gap. I know, hey, I understand the money that Brandon Sheriff is asking for, but losing Brandon Sheriff is hard. But you look at the offensive line, which played consistently. You saw that offensive line still perform with 4 different centers last year. And I give credit where credit is due. You don't see that too often, but that's a selling point to a quarterback. 4 different centers? Keep that in the back of your minds. It's a very important point. Again, the running back tandem, Logan Thomas, John Bates, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuels, those things excite players. They excite, they think about the potential, and that's good. And I mean, hey, and Jonathan Allen is a household name. Chase Young, Montez Sweat. I mean, they lost Landon Collins, but Landon Collins was still very much in the industry, very much so a household name. Okay, let me be very clear. Landon Collins, that's still going to be like, oh, he still scares some people out there. I know it may not seem like that sitting from where we sit at times, but on that field, he still is scary to players on the other side. So I want to continue to mention those things because quarterback play, I mean, it's important. It's important. I'm not as down on Carson Wentz like many others are from a quarterback play perspective, but the leadership in the locker room is absolutely a concern for me, and it's going to continue to be a concern. Now, again, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens for certain with the rest of free agency. At the top of the week, deals are still being done, offers are still being made, conversations are absolutely still being had. And then after we get through this little round of free agency, then we'll all have to shift our focus to that of preparing for the draft. Because one thing you are going to continue to hear me say about the Commanders as it comes to the draft is that they cannot miss. Every pick, the right one. Year 3 for Ron Rivera and company. And that's why they can't miss. You all, we have made it another week of covering DC sports, Commanders, football. Took a couple weeks on Commanders. Look, the 5th anniversary, shout out to everyone who attended. Shout out to everyone who has sent their well wishes. Thank you so much for all of that. Anyone who sent donations to the CWall Foundation, thank you all for that. And you all will continue to hear more about that. But as always, when it comes to Commanders and all of the DC sports, as always, you know that there is more to come. Okay, you all listen, be blessed and stay safe. Okay, stay safe. And I'm going to see you all again very, very soon.
You're not on the field or ice. You're on the couch. CWall to DC. This is Coaching from the Couch with your host, CWall. Delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from a hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, booty stink.
My name's CWall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you not on the field. Cold on the ice, picking these